Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 21. Wow, of Boys from the Baltic Star. We were legally drinkable in England a few weeks ago, and now we've hit 21. So all around the world, people can settle in with a drink for our show. Thank you for joining us. If you don't already, consider following us on Twitter at Boys Baltic. If you hang around for a while and you decide you quite like us, then please consider following as well. Follows are wonderful things. Before I get started, you may notice a new bar for today, which we launched last night for the Summer of Love. You can drop 200 of your Imperial credits, and then you choose the little one that's like a ticket. There we go, Pans has done it already. Enterprise draw, your name goes up on the list, and at half-time break we will make a draw for it, and we'll talk about what it is in a second. Because I need to introduce my colleagues first, and then maybe my colleague who has set this prize up can introduce that, and then our GM can take us from there, I guess. So I'm Luke, I'm in blue, I'm hot, so the guns do need to come out because my house just gets brutal. But anyway, I'm Luke, I'm in blue, hello. And I don't do this to show off, my arms aren't worthy of showing off, really. Two across is my colleague, my comrade, and my hero, quite frankly. It's Ewan in blue.
Hi.
And then in the middle is our nemesis, the man who's out to get us. It is our referee, Ben. But for once, Ben, we're not going straight to you. Ewan, what is this prize?
This wonderful, amazing prize that we've managed to cobble together is, frankly, I've got too many dice. So the next pair of dice I roll that give me a result of two natural ones on the pair of d6 that I roll, I will send off to you should you wish them. If you don't want to give out your address or anything else like that, we can come up with something else equally as amazing as my unlucky dice.
Yeah, if cursed dice are not your thing,
I'll give them a little pep talk before I send them off. Just and hopefully the extradition of the two cursed dice will scare the others into line and they'll start performing a little bit better. I might even have. I might even have a couple of maybe an extra novelty dice lying around somewhere that I'll throw in there as well for free.
God.
But that is your prize. The next set of dice this campaign that roll me double ones are gone.
Cursed dice.
I've had too many, especially on things that I've got a -3 for, so I end up with a -1. It's happened too many times. So no more.
Just hand off your curse to someone else.
Yeah, pretty much.
yes, Traveller is one of those systems where you actually can roll minus numbers if you do badly.
Yeah.
And Panzer's in the running, and Nuclear Winter's also in the running for some cursed dice. They love the cursed dice.
Well, as soon as you throw a curse in there, it makes it more alluring.
Yes.
Like pirate tales, caves, haunted houses, dice.
That's true. Do we have a black spot that we can give away? Okay. Well, that's the prize intro. I guess I call you GM, but you're referee. Referee Ben. Open our mind's eye.
Okay. So last time, on leaving the Commodore's mansion, the boys from the Baltic Star had noticed a woman following them, but still decided to retire briefly to the hotel to sleep off their brunch. After some vague stab at sobriety, they made their way to the Cascade, their favourite night spot. While there, they spotted the woman again, and thanks to Stefan's remarkable alacrity, were able to capture her and bundle her into Cat Aralesti's air raft. In flight, they threatened, cajoled, and role-played their way to getting some information from their captive. She revealed she was a member of a Zodani unit known as Jarek 99. Zoe filled in some details from her experience and suggested it was possible the woman, Stella Nest, wasn't actually interested in them, but had more internal Zodani matters on her mind. Unsure if that was true, our heroes threw her out of the air raft at an altitude of several centimetres onto a remote peak and sped off into the night. And that is where we resume the story.
With us speeding through the night. Do we have an MP3 version of that? I drove all night to get to you. That we can play. That'd be perfect. Just skimming across the water with that playing loud. Sort of, all a bit tired, all a little bit wired from what's gone on. Sort of the adrenaline slowly starting to subside and some sleepy eyes maybe.
Definitely for Ragnar, he's got a few years on you guys, so he's probably almost drifting off in the corner.
Okay.
His medical work done.
Yeah, he probably looks around and just says, so, hotel? Got any other plans, or can we go to sleep?
Sleep sounds... What better way to start a session than going to sleep?
All right.
And that's break. See you in 5 minutes.
And Cat manages, without too much difficulty, in fact, to navigate at night in a fairly gentle, swooping motion back to the hotel, and clearly has now got a significant amount of familiarity with that little landing area on the outside of the Coronet's sort of lakeside frontage, and drops you down right by the pontoon there. However, before you can even get out, she turns to you and says quite loudly, "The answer's yes, by the way."
Kara gives a big grin and sort of does a little shoulder nudge. Oh, shoulder nudge. So, fantastic. We'll be absolutely delighted. I believe we're leaving. As an aside, Ben, was the Buckyball cruise was leaving from the planet shortly, right? That was going to be... Are we talking...
Yeah, it was effectively 2 days after the brunch, which is still the day you're on. Actually.
That is true. So we've still got tomorrow. It's the day after tomorrow. Cool.
Yeah.
And she was invited as well, wasn't she? So that's cool.
She was. Yeah. And she gives a grin and says, "Yeah, seriously, the first thing I did this morning, fly one of the chefs out to the market on Venti to pick up fresh eggs for the Commodore's breakfast. And the last thing I did this evening, fly a Zodani spy out into the wilderness." You know what? It's just no contest, is there?
It's an interesting way of life, but it's certainly a way of life. We get the odd egg from time to time, but we're more likely to drop a Zodani on a cliff top than grab an egg.
Agnar suddenly thinks, "Oh crap, we've still got those Moab eggs on the ship."
Don't show her the Moab eggs. Oh.
Yes, indeed. Yes, there are still a couple of Moab eggs.
I wonder what kind of shape they're in at the minute. He'll thank her before leaving the ship. Definitely. No, so hopefully we can show you more spies and less eggs.
Okay. Well, because of where you've been dropped off, you can actually use the lakeside entrance to go straight up to the rooms if you like.
Yeah, let's just go straight up to the room.
Yeah. Unless, of course, Soraya wants to take a little detour.
No, she'll save. She's very tired. Maybe a detour. Maybe a detour in the morning. Too late.
Too late for a Tim.
Yeah, it's not my favourite Tim. Late night Tim's not my favourite Tim, I must admit.
Bit stuffy.
Yeah, he is a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Early evening Tim's the best, but we missed him.
Yeah. Yes, I'm afraid you're out clubbing for early evening, Tim.
Yeah. We've only got one more early evening left on the planet. Oh no. Early evening Tim.
Absolutely. Okay. So are you staying with your normal room assignments?
Yeah, I see no reason why not to. That's Agnar on his own with his sash and his flowers and his fruit.
How many days old is that fruit?
And that fruit that's slowly rotting in the corner.
Yeah. He might have worked his way through most of it by now.
Yes, quite right.
So,
so yes, you make your way up. Nothing seems to happen as you make your way to the hotel. No one else seems to leap out at you or, threaten to join your crew. And you make your way to your rooms and have a completely uneventful and very comfortable night. Not a little bit helped by the fact that you had some fresh air, some exercise, and some booze, which is a nice way to go to bed.
It is a nice way to go to bed, actually.
Yeah.
I think both of mine are sober as well when they wake up, and neither of them should have too much of a hangover. Because Sarai went early on her drinking. Yeah! What a beautiful day. Kara will spring up just as the first sun is dawning over the horizon. And in her mind, she hears that. Is
that Peer Gynt? Did I imagine that?
I don't know, you'd know more than me. I just know the tune. And she sort of stretches out like, smiles, slowly pulls herself out again, goes over to the door, slides the door open, stands on the balcony, whistling to herself a happy tune. And then she goes and shakes Zoe awake by sort of like jumping on the bed next to her in a pesky way.
Okay. Yes, Zoe will haul her frame out of bed. She's not too difficult in the mornings. She's comfortable with getting up and getting dressed quickly. And she'll head downstairs to await the others in the garden.
Oh, this is sounding delightful. A morning garden. Oh.
Go on.
No, I wasn't going to say anything.
Taking a deep breath to fix me.
Yeah.
Steph will roll out of bed. He'll get himself ready and he'll just start messaging everyone. What's the first stop for today? Where are we meeting?
Speaking as the referee, I'm fairly curious about that as well. What you're going to do first?
Private message me if you don't want them to know.
We've got. I think there's four things. There's four things that need tying up today, ideally. First things first. We would like to, and I think we're happy with this, Ewan. We'd like to contact Richard on the ship. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Hey, Richard, you up? How you doing?
Good morning. I trust it's all going well down there.
It is. Did you manage to get down in the end, or have you been stuck up there the whole time?
Not a lot of down. Mostly up by the naval station. But it's not too bad.
They're treating you well. They're not like mooning out the window or anything like that when you go past.
No, it's fair enough. You can't really tell whether or not they're mooning you. We've picked up another crew member of the feline variety, not an Aslan this time, and other than that, I think everything's pretty much ticking over. A couple of things I want to talk to you about with regard to the Deep Night lot, though, when we next see each other.
Oh, fantastic! I think we definitely want to pop up at least briefly. Is it urgent, or can it wait till later in the day?
Oh, later in the day won't matter, I'm sure.
Cool. Something has come up potentially. I guess an opportunity that ties in. Do you remember when we left you guys for a couple of weeks and went into the deep dark beyond, and everyone came back a bit with bad juju? Remember those times?
Well, vaguely, yeah.
There's potentially we've met someone on the planet that has got some leads in those sort of carvings that you'd have heard people talking about, around the bar and that, and we saw the pictures that are being shown around, and some other carvings as well we found on the planet. And the lead might take us away for a week on the buckyball ship that's orbiting. And it's not just an excuse for Sarai to watch a game.
I'm sure it isn't.
No, indeed. I guess it's us usual bunch of miscreants. I think Zoe was planning to come too. I guess it means we'll be away for a week or so, a week or two. It's a week jump somewhere, isn't it? And then we'd have to get back.
Yeah. Well, all jumps take a week.
Yeah. If we find out the where we finish up, do you guys want to grab some paying customers and maybe some passengers and maybe come to where we're going, make a little bit of side money for you guys, and we'll sort of meet you there?
Well, maybe that's something we should talk about before you sort of put too much decision in that. Maybe I should talk to you about what the Deep Night thing. You see, they've been intermittently in touch with the ship saying, hope you guys are okay. They're waiting for you to get in touch when you're ready. The usual thing. And I didn't feel I was able to turn them away because, they refueled our ship for us.
Yes.
But anyway, we got a bit chatting, and well, the truth is they've offered me a job.
Oh.
The reason I took this job was because after a fair few years of flying passengers from A to B and then to A and then B and then A and B, I was offered the chance to go off on a scientific expedition that would take in a new planet every couple of weeks. And they're basically about to do the same thing, but on a much, much bigger scale. And I'd really like to be a part of that.
I totally understand. We can't begrudge you that. You've been sort of being dragged around against what your vision was. You've been a very patient man with us. I mean, thank you for all of that. That said, with our meeting with Deep Night, we have no idea what it's going to be. It might be along similar lines. It depends. Have they got a ship for? Is their plan to bump you onto another ship or anything? Have you gone into such deep conversation yet?
They have offered me a senior rank position, part of the bridge crew of an old Amara class cruiser that they've renamed the Deep Night Revelation.
Aha, okay.
And they are, well, it's a big ship, and she's beautiful, and they're refitting her and modifying her, and she's a serious piece of hardware, And they're talking about a mission that will last 6 to 10 years. And I don't think I can turn them down.
It's certainly a career-making mission, I guess. It's a big thing.
I think it's a retirement-making mission.
Make that, and then you're done.
On the way out, I'll pick my favourite star system, and on the way back, I'll just drop off there and retire.
Are you the only one that they've been tapping up while we've been away?
The only one who's spoken to me. I don't know of anyone else. They might have done, but
right. In which case, when are they taking you?
That's really what I wanted to talk to you about, because the ship doesn't leave for, well, they don't know exactly, but at least 6 months. But they want me there as soon as possible, you understand, to familiarise myself with her, to get training set up.
Fair enough. Would you so if we did a little 2-week jumpy turnaround, you got one more chance to entertain some passengers. We certainly don't need the money out of the passengers. Is money helpful to you? Is credits a good like? I guess you're away for 6 to 10, but an extra little nest egg to leave sitting to come back to after the.
Truthfully, I'd rather join them as soon as possible.
Okay,
but I'm willing to stick around if you really need me.
Okay. Cheers, man. We'll have a conversation about it, and we definitely don't want to mess with your hopes and dreams. You may have noticed that people that stay with us for too long, life gets interesting, and we certainly wouldn't want to mess up your employment opportunities at this time. Thank you. The truth is, we have come across someone who can fly a ship, who might be interested in joining us. So you certainly wouldn't be leaving us in the lurch. It'd be sad. It'd be sad to see you go. Of course, you're a wonderful man with a wonderful taste in suits, but and a wonderful moustache. But but you got to do you, man. You got to do you. Cool.
Well, thank you.
Okay, we'll be in touch. Thanks for letting us know, though. It's helpful. It helps us with our planning, I guess. Okay, and then Cara will drop the old phone, press the button, and then looks a bit stunned.
At this point, I imagine Stefan and Soraya are still back in their room. Stefan will pick up his phone and he'll call up to the Baltic Star. And he'll be, hey Richard, how's it going? Listen, I'm with Soraya. You remember Soraya, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you do. He looks over at Soraya. He knows who you are, don't he? She's something's come up on World. She's been signed up to play buckyball. You know, sport buckyball. She's going to be playing for the Gurkhas, the Geeks, for a little while. So we might be gone. We might be gone. The Geek. We might be gone for a month or so. But we'll be back soon. And also, just on a personal note, I don't feel as though we talk much, Richard. And I just wanted to let you know that we really appreciate the job that you do for us, sitting up there in space. It must be very boring. I'm a very introverted person, and I don't often express the way I feel very often. But just to let you know that you are very much appreciated, and I consider you one of my only friends. Thank you. And he hangs up.
Oh.
There is some cruelty in you, isn't there?
Survive rolls her eyes. You're such a jerk.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay. So after torturing Richard,
oh, poor Richard.
What's your next objective?
It was our main objective for the day. I suppose then we need to get Deep Night done, don't we? Because that probably gives us a bit of information about a lot of things, I would imagine.
Yeah, we delve a bit deeper, don't we? We get some.
If they want to question us and that might take some time as well. So maybe weren't they gonna start checking Stefan over or something, like poking him and prodding him?
Yeah, they wanted to do some questions and potentially do like some full-on investigating brain scans or something, wasn't it?
That's right.
Yep. They might want to do. I mean, they did say they'd be non-invasive, but that doesn't mean they won't maybe take a blood sample or something.
Yeah.
Or something.
Do we want to, if we're all discussing this as a group, Agnar will probably ask, do we want to find out more from these carvings experts on the tour before we start talking to the Deep Night?
What, so like,
we want to know what we've got, we could offer them more if we find out information from the experts, for one, assuming that they're not already in contact with the carvings experts that are around the planet. But we also,
if you remember, according to Paral Karar, the reason these guys came to the system in the first place was to talk with Deep Night.
But we would have a better idea, I will say, of the value of the information that we hold.
What you mean? So try and delay them with static for a week or two?
That's probably pushing it, isn't it? If they're already pestering Richard, how long have we been here? It's a few days, right?
Pretty much a week, isn't it? Always.
4. This is day 6.
There we go.
So if they start poaching one of our crew members every 6 days, there'll be 2 more down by the time we get back.
As long as they don't poach Kron. Kron's my new fave. Can't take him, man. We need him.
Let's go see them now, then.
Let's go see Deep Night. Okay, let's
get out of the way, know where we stand, and then.
It's a good plan. Let's message ahead and let them know. It's the lady from the oh dear, that's a long way back. It's the lady from the little yacht, isn't it? That's our contact.
Well, you were asked to make contact with the Deep Night office on Venti.
Venti, yeah.
Which is one of the peaks, basically.
Yeah.
Well, let's do that then. We'll contact Deep Night office on Venti.
Is that the one that's 2 over or something?
Yeah, it's the most southeasterly.
Yeah.
Of them. So from where you are right now, it's 2 hops. Yeah.
So do we call ahead? Press 1 for more information. Press 2 for this. Press 0 to hold. Probably a 0 is what we need.
Kara gets that music again.
Yeah, I know. It's much less enjoyable now that she's on the end of a phone and not looking over a beautiful view.
So are you making your way to Venti immediately?
Yeah, let's get it done. We might end up with a bit of the day left if we do that.
We'll pick up some street food on the way for some breakfast or something.
Oh, breakfast street food. Yes.
Assuming that we pass through somewhere suitable.
Well, yes, either on Venti or where you're setting off, there are street food vendors all around the 2 lake islands, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, perfect.
So yeah, those areas they both offer plenty of dining selections. You make your way to the appropriate transit stop. Can each of you please roll a streetwise check for me?
As we leave hotel, Sarah's not going to say anything to Tim, but she's going to do that thing where, like points to her eyes with 2 hands like that, and then just carries on.
Excellent.
You know what? All these streetwise checks are just going to be Tim.
Just Tim.
Tim's following us around the whole time, plotting their revenge.
There's at least 5 Tims in town. But where do they live? They could be anywhere.
It's all Tim all the time.
All Tim all the time. Exactly. All Tim all the Tim. All right. Streetwise plus anything?
Okay.
Is
intellect, please.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Oh,
done first.
a good early start. Kara's hit a 10 plus 2, 12. That's a good roll.
Agnar got a 4 minus 3. So that's
okay.
Positive first roll at least.
And Sarah only hit a 6. I think it's because she was still looking back at the hotel, still doing these to Tim.
And Stefan got a 10 plus 2 is 12.
Ooh.
12, okay. You're a little bit paranoid about the fact that you might be being followed again, and this has happened a couple of times here. And as you make your way through, you realise that at this time in the morning, the streets are very busy with people doing their first errand of the day or travelling to and from work. And you don't see anything suspicious, but you start to realise that in this kind of environment, when it's one of these most densely populated parts at this kind of rush hour, if there were someone following you, it would be practically impossible to tell. so it doesn't exactly set your mind at ease.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Other than that, you make your way to Venti and get out and wander in the direction of the Deep Night offices. Venti is mostly industrial and trading based. It is filled with a mixture of some fairly cheap looking but fairly large corporate blocks and some rather smarter ones. The Deep Night one is a very new and quite elegantly developed one. It looks as if because of the way the buildings around it are arranged, it looks as if they took over a block that was pretty boring and homogeneous and leveled it and replaced it with a much smarter looking unit. And as you enter, there's a fairly large lobby which seems to occupy pretty much the entire ground floor of the block, with arched pillars running in a sort of zigzag pattern down the middle of it, and at a huge central reception desk there are a number of receptionists, and as soon as you walk in, one of them sort of stands up and beams at you and waits for you to come over.
Sorry, Ben. Can I just backtrack a tiny little bit? As we're approaching the building, Stefan will pick up his communicator again, and they'll call up to the Baltic Star. And oh, hi, Richard. Sorry to bother you. Stefan again. Listen, I spoke to Kara, and she was telling me that the Deep Night have been pestering you. And I don't think that's fair. We like to look after our crew. We don't want them calling you up all the time. So we've made it a personal issue to stop by there first thing this morning and get them off your backs.
Oh, Richard.
Because we care about you. Richard. We care about you.
We do care about Richard.
And he'll put the phone back.
Oh.
And we'll walk in.
I see. Yes. Yes, so kind. So very, very
I won't
kind.
mess with this too much. That's it. I won't do it again.
Okay. Do you approach the receptionist?
Would the floor be good for either tap dancing or sliding on?
Sliding, certainly.
God.
It's very smooth and hard.
Kara's going to go for the full running slide on the knees like she's just scored a goal. And I don't know how well she's going to do it. Can I see how well she does it?
We're about to find out.
Yes.
That would be an athletics dexterity check plus dexterity.
Oh, lots of zeros then. Yeah, oh no. Why? I think she chanced it though. 9.
A total of 9.
Yeah.
Okay. She hits the floor, nicely balanced, and doesn't really slide very well because the quite bulky suit she's in absorbs almost all of the energy very quickly.
Very disappointing.
So it looks more like she just dropped to her knees in sheer enthusiasm. She just went, yay, and fell straight to her knees. Stopped.
Overcome by the building.
Realising that, she's going to sort of look around and then hold her hands out and go, "We're home!" And then bows down and kisses the earth and then gets up again.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. So, arriving at the reception desk, finally, you find the receptionist beaming at you. He's a fairly slim chap, very tall, close cropped hair, and he says, "You can only be the Baltic Star crew."
And you can only be Tim. How is it working here, Tim? Do you enjoy your lot?
It's not bad. It's fine, yeah. I used to work in a hotel, It's been a bit of an upgrade, actually, I think.
Well, I must say you're looking very good for it. Do you ever drop to your knees and celebrate the fact that you work here now?
Not recently.
Maybe you should. I think you need to revel in life. Life is good. Life is short, and you should enjoy it when you can.
Yes, I take your point, but I tend to revel in the parts of my life when I'm not at work.
Why only live for those short hours?
Because those are the hours when I'm allowed to drink.
Who says you can't drink at work, Tim? Tim, who says you can't drink at work, Tim? Tim, come on. Don't be confined by such petty rules. You might have to do it sneakily, but don't worry. We've got your back, Tim. We've got your back. She'll pat him on the back and says,
Okay.
do you guys do credits here, Tim? Do you take a little bit on the side, or am I getting confused?
We don't take tips at reception, no, sir.
Are you sure? Are you sure, Tim? Do you not like it? We can like sign something for you. It might be worth it in the future. Something, anything. No, okay, fine. In which case, we've got an appointment, Tim. We're here for business. Stop slowing us down and making us talk. We're busy people with busy time.
Okay. He checks the little console in front of him, and after a couple of seconds, he looks up and says, Miss Coriander will see you immediately. She's been waiting for your visit.
Miss Coriander? Well, in which case, let's not leave her waiting. I'm sure we don't want to take up too much of her time.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Does he crack a smile at least? Is it more worth his job?
I wouldn't say that in front of her, if I may offer some sage advice.
Soraya grabs his hand and forcefully shakes it at this point. Excellent work, sir. Excellent work. You're all right. You're right. You're one of my. You're my third favourite, Tim. Come on, crew. Let's go.
Okay. He'll linger back a little bit, and he'll just say, "I'm sorry. You seem to have caught us on a relatively not hungover morning. We're a bit perky." And he'll walk off after the rest of them.
Okay. So, you make your way to the lift, which opens as you approach. Like most of the lifts in modern buildings, it's effectively computer controlled, and he's been holding it for you, just waiting for you to step into it. It's pre-programmed for its destination, and it takes you up to the very top floor. And as you leave the lift, a sort of little pulsing ribbon of light along the walls shows you the direction to walk in order to get to the office.
Ooh. Very hoity-toity. Does anyone have any reason not to walk to the office?
Unless you have a reason not to. Okay.
Let's walk to the office.
You approach the office. The office has a very sort of sophisticated looking glass door, which is completely transparent glass. And in order to stop people accidentally walking into it, it has a pattern of circles and rings interlocking imprinted onto the glass, almost like an etching. And also, in a kind of opaque etching, there is a name, which is Lydia Coriander, written right across the glass front of the office. And as you approach, the central part of this glass wall door slides apart to reveal an opening you can actually walk through. And as soon as you are inside, even as the doors are still closing, they fade to completely opaque to provide privacy. And on the other side, there is a fairly elderly but very well presented Varga female who stands and walks around to say, Lydia Coriander. Very nice to meet you at last. I've heard great things.
Kara grabs her hand and says, Kara Lasker, thank you for having us. I'm sorry we've been so long, but we've been enjoying this beautiful city. Some of us have enjoyed certain parts of the city more than others. She sort of glances across at Agnar and then goes, he loved Earth Park. And then that's how welcome done. So Kara wanders off at that point a little bit.
He's probably still got his Earth Park t-shirt on over the top, stretched over the top of his armour, but not the sash. This doesn't feel like, the sash kind of place.
Not the Destroyer of Worlds sash.
No.
Fair enough. Okay. She sort of introduces herself to everyone and shakes hands all round. And then she says, so, I suppose I could better get to the point. We're obviously very curious to learn if there is any lasting after effect, physical, psychological, or any other, really, from your little trip into the rift. So we'd very much like, with your permission, to conduct a battery of tests on you. It'll only take an hour or so.
Agnar will ask what kind of tests, if you don't mind. I'm a medical man myself, so I'm quite interested.
A few floors below us here, we have a pretty sophisticated medical suite, a large instantiated medical scanner. We'd very much like each of you to, well, pretty much walk through it. It'll only take a moment. And then afterwards, have a brief interview with a member of my staff to assess your mental state, your memories, your any information you might have. Once we've covered the basics, the actual events that transpired, and any after effects you may be feeling, any information that would be useful, I'd very much like to have a chat with you myself about a few things. The first of which is to give you a little bit of briefing about the mission that we have preparing at the moment. Another is to potentially ask you for your help in, shall we say, blazing a trail for it.
We are the trailblazing kind. We're people have called us the Blazing Squad.
I thought that almost immediately.
Quick out of game question: would Agnar know? I mean, the type of scanner that we're talking about here. Would he know?
Yes.
Sort of the information they can get, what they can't get.
It's the kind you find in a major hospital. They are extremely fast and reliable. They essentially combine thousands of medical tests into a single scan.
High tech, pretty classy.
It's advanced technology, but not unfamiliar technology. Put it that way.
Okay, cool. All right, perfect.
Soraya will sort of look a bit closely at her from a distance still and say, and these are optional?
Well, absolutely everything is optional, of course.
Okay. That's good to know, thank you.
Agnar will say, well, I'm certainly not adverse to doing it myself. I would request that a copy of my results be sent to myself, though. You know, from a medical interest point of view.
We will happily give each of you a copy of the scans, of course.
Yeah, thank you. This feels like the kind of thing that we decide upon individually. I think.
Yes, good call.
You certainly don't need a whole crew in or out, I would assume.
I think it's a fair point. Yes, I'm sure individuals can make their decisions as they will. So, who is going to basically sit in the waiting room for an hour, and who is going to go and subject themselves to the scan and interview process?
Cara will not be scanned, but she's willing to have a chat.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yes. Zoe will do exactly the opposite. She's happy to have a medical scan. She doesn't want the interview.
Okay.
Stefan would do both.
Okay.
He's happy to do that.
Sarai will do neither.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
We're averaging out here.
We're all doing something a bit different. But it's what they would. It fits for what they would do. To be fair.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think so far we're on exactly 50%. In fact.
Yeah, and I don't know. I get the feeling. Agna, I'll just ask her. And when we're talking about the interview here, we're talking about just an open, casual chat. Formal chat with somebody about the experience.
This will just be an interview with a medical professional to talk about nightmares, dreams, side effects, potential shock, disorientation, hallucinations. That they know the questions to ask to find out if there were any psychological outcomes.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm certainly happy with answering some questions. And Agna will go down for both, provided he gets a copy of his medical scan so he can nerd through them one evening.
Okay, fair enough. All right. So, a proportion of the party goes and sits in a waiting room almost next door, and other members of the party drift in and out, depending on whether they were just going for the scan or just going for the interview or whatever. And an hour later, everyone returns. The whole process is, it has to be said, very painless. And as promised, anyone who participated in any part of the process immediately gets sent a copy of the medical data retrieved by the scanner, though it is, if you like, raw data. You'd need to have expertise to interpret it. And the questions that people were asked in the interview and the answers they gave, along with some very superficial notes by the person taking the answers. But again, this is the raw data, not necessarily how it could be interpreted by a professional.
Yeah.
Okay. So once everyone is reassembled, you are welcomed back into Lydia Coriander's office. And she shows everyone to a fairly large sort of conference table and sits down herself. And then she says, we, I think, should speak openly. You are aware, because you've encountered it, that there is an extraordinarily dangerous infection or life form, and it's living extremely close to Imperial space. However, we don't believe for a second that that's where it originated. We actually think it originated far away. And we're desperately trying to find out where. We were hoping that one or more of you might have had such an acute reaction to the psychological aspects of the carvings on that cliff face down there, that you might have started to have the associated dreams, the associated nightmares, if you'll forgive me, that seem to provide the majority of the clues. We've found a number of people who have experienced that kind of thing, but so far, every single one of them has either died, gone too far to be recovered and to provide any useful insight, or not been able to dig far enough into the clues and into their minds.
Cara winks at
We don't know
Stefan,
exactly
and
how-
Cara winks at Stefan and says, "Well, that's got to be encouraging for you." Sort of whispers it a bit
thing.
under the breath, kind of thing.
We have been trying to track down anyone who had that kind of reaction and had that kind of ability to still function after it. And we've been trying very hard to find anybody, but truthfully, that world isn't that explored. We don't know anywhere else where a clue has been left, and we don't know where we're going. And that's important, because in less than a year, we're planning to send an absolutely enormous starship to the place that this infection or life form originates from. And we don't know where we're going yet. We were hoping one of you might be able to fill in the details, but apparently none of you have the severe psychological traumatic symptoms that have led to you almost being forced to draw diagrams or maps or make notes, things that we know people have been forced to do, but then they've died or those have been lost. And we are truthfully in significant need of a piece of information that we do not have. Now, we can send our mission without that final location because we have an approximate area. And we can head that approximate area and hope that as we get closer, a few expeditions to nearby planets and star systems might reveal more and more information. But if there is anything you can tell us that would help, that would be, well, extremely useful.
Stefan, sorry.
No, go for it.
Stefan just he says to her, well, while we're being open and frank, have you ever just thought about opening this up to some kind of trial program, medical trial? Why don't you put adverts out there, pay people, I don't know, a mega credit each, take them down onto the planet in a controlled environment, armed guards, people that can get them off when things are going too far, and then test them when they get back?
There is an ethical consideration. Now that we know the dangers that are there, now that we really understand what it is, at least as far as we can, we are placing a full edict on that world. No one's going back.
Did you?
So,
no, carry on. Sorry, you were carrying on with your bit.
He was only going to say, so these people are either out there or they're not. Nobody's going to nobody's going to be exposed to this again. You're not going to have more people who may get this kind of reaction and survive. You've either got to find them from people that have been to the planet and left, or that's it.
Those that we have been able to speak with, been able to interview, none of them have proved to have quite the information we need. We do have one other lead. It's arguably the strongest one we've ever had. But we are facing a bit of a challenge in negotiating with the person who controls that information.
Cara will say, hey, Diesel Shot. The one person that I know that was most affected was, I looked the name up and I've forgotten it now. Captain Valen. Captain Valen. I'd have thought if anyone would have been able to give you the deep, dark dreams and nightmares, it would have been him.
And yet, sadly, no.
Did they go through Stefan's experience with him during the interview of his altered state?
They did.
Okay. So that would be no new information to them.
No, I'm afraid not.
Okay.
No, there is. There is, an alternative route, but they may be asking for your assistance with it. It's not something you already have on you, so to speak. At least not in your minds.
Yeah, cool. He'll say to her, your other lead wouldn't happen to be somewhat closer to home, would it? Sort of furrow his brow a bit.
As it happens, our potential lead, well, right now, is being temporarily detained, awaiting interrogation for corruption charges on the surface of Giikur. It is possible he might be willing to speak with you where he wouldn't with us, but I doubt it. He seems to be determined to hold out this prize in exchange for not only a substantial amount of money, but also being immunized from all charges. He has a somewhat unpleasant criminal past, it seems.
What type of criminal are we talking here? Are we talking petty theft and street crimes, or are we talking embezzlement and fraud?
She takes a sort of look at her notes and says, fairly substantial corruption. I wouldn't actually be at all surprised if you hadn't met him, to be honest. He used to serve as the captain of the Ragnar's Tail.
Aha! Paul Street! That's a name that came back to me in the moment. Yeah,
That is a good memory. That is a very good memory.
He was a bit, he was a wrong, and we already messed with him.
He is claiming that he has access to some information that would be very valuable to us. And, well, you were kind of our last hope before we agree to his terms.
We, as an aside, Ewan, we nabbed that. We've got his notes. If that's what it is, we nabbed the notes. If you remember,
We did off the
Ragnar's tale.
yeah.
If that is what he's got, if that's what he's trying to make deals with, that Roman, he deserves it for his planetary corruption,
which I think
and his
we
space
looked at
corruption.
and we couldn't make head nor tail of, could we?
No,
Is that right? We look at it and it was just gibberish to us.
But we got it.
So whoever looks at it. Quickly, Stefan will say to her, "Well, I think we could possibly help you, potentially in a couple of ways. We have on occasion before taken exception to corruption and the abuse of power. Not entirely when there were charges about to be brought, but and he'll look around the room. Are we speaking in private here?
It's just the gang and her. Yes, those are the only people in the room.
Oh no, he'll ask her that.
Oh yes,
He'll outright ask her whether we're actually speaking in private or.
Yes, absolutely in private.
And he'll say, should you agree to his terms, that doesn't necessarily have to be the end of the matter, if you see my meaning.
You mean you could supply potentially the same information that he could supply? Or do you mean we could make a deal with him and then not entirely live up to it?
I don't potentially mean either of those things. I mean you could potentially make a deal with him, let him off, and he could still find some, should we say, punishment for his crime.
I see. Okay.
Potentially. There are other options, I feel, and he'll sort of look around the room at the crew.
Well, if the information he holds that is, well, it's too encrypted for us, but if he can be persuaded to reveal it for a large amount of money, then that would be, well, it's money we have to spend if we have to spend it, obviously.
If someone else could get you the same information, does that mean you'd be able to offer them a significant bounty?
Well, let's. So can you roll a persuade with intellect, please, not social?
I can. Well, no, I certainly don't out-social her. Intellect with persuade here. Where's my persuade gone? There it is. I think it's a 2 anyway here.
Luke, also just out of game, if they're talking about the encryption, did we get these files before Kara got her super high-tech computer?
Laptop. Oh, grief.
I'm trying to remember.
No, the computer was before that.
After. Okay.
Yep, and more importantly, you've already got a decrypted copy if they're the same files.
Exactly.
Oh, right.
Yeah, if that's what she wants, that's what we managed to download
And
it.
it's still read as gibberish. Is that the...
Yes, it read as gibberish because the contents were written by a ranting lunatic.
Okay.
It wasn't encrypted gibberish. It was
Actual
read
gibberish.
by one as
lunatic
well,
gibberish.
might I add. 7 makes 11.
Wow. Okay. She says, "You know what? Before we go down that route, let me ask you something else. You have a a crew that works well together. You have a ship. You have a history of problem solving. You've survived one of the toughest places in the galaxy.
Earthbox.
Or that beach.
That beach, sure. It was tough to get away from.
I tell you, the barbecue.
The barbecue.
That was pretty tough.
I'm the first leg of our ship's journey is intended to cover a broad arc, leaving the Imperium westward and skirting south of Zodani and Aslan space.
Wow.
And truthfully, for the first leg, we're sending a flotilla of escort ships along with her. In case of mechanical problems, crew, illness, things that need to be fixed on the run, she's going with a little support crew. But not only that, in order to make her journey as fast and efficient through, shall we say, civilized space as possible, we're sending ships ahead. We've already started sending a few to do scouting missions and some reconnaissance. I don't know if you'd be interested in this, but we would love to recruit you and your ship for a mission exactly like that. Probably not literally on the path of the Revelation, but a little way off it in case there was a need for a detour at any point. Just 2 or 3 star systems, 4 or 5 parsecs away from the route we have plotted out. Making contact, briefing people about the mission, and making sure there are resources available if something were needed in that first leg of the journey. We could pay you a substantial amount of money for each system so contacted and prepared. All you'd really need to do is make sure they understood the importance of the mission without actually revealing the importance of the mission, and simultaneously make sure there were people there with contact names who would have supplies on standby, potentially spare parts or shipyard facilities ready if needed. Now, you, of course, could therefore leave as soon as you wanted. And we would be enthusiastic about making sure that your ship was as prepared for such a mission as she could be. So I was wondering, for example, would it be beneficial if, while we were in the process of refitting our own ship, we spared a little resource to perhaps fit the Baltic Star with some weaponry?
Oh. Pew, pew, pew. Could you also fit a toasted sandwich maker? I've really been missing them since we've moved in. And one of those coffee machines with pods. Carl looks over at Agnar. Anything else you fancy? Anything you're missing from Varga Space?
He looks back and he just says, those pods are really bad for the environment.
Not tech level 14 pods. The top quality, the good pods.
The good stuff.
The good stuff. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, there is. First, before we get too into this, with all due respect, because I'm sure, he looks around. Certainly, it comes across as though you know exactly what you're doing. But if you don't know where you're going, and you've sent these ships off in a direct, how do you know you're not going in completely the wrong direction?
We have enough information to give us a region. we think we've narrowed it down to as little as 10 or 15 sectors. Maybe 200 subsectors. But that's still potentially thousands of worlds. And we might be off by just a few sectors. And that's tens of thousands. We need a slightly more precise zeroing in.
I get where you're coming from. I was more concerned that we'd be going up in one direction and then be called back the other way once some information came to light.
I
not
understand.
that I don't trust you. As I say, you certainly give off a very professional presentation of yourself.
Mr. Varga, are you flirting? Are you flirting, Mr. Varga?
I forgot she was a Varga. But I just, we need to make sure of these things sometimes. I think in that situation, and he lists off 3 of the rarest whiskey or whiskey equivalents that he has ever heard of, like Holy Grail type stuff we're talking here. That's pretty much all I would require for such a voyage. And on addition to the the very kind offer to refit the ship and the sandwich maker.
A proper overhaul of the ship's engines, sensors and systems, a couple of minor upgrades, the fitting of a reasonably appropriate weapon system fit for a ship of that size. A bar full of eye-wateringly expensive spirits. A middle market coffee maker.
Sounds perfect. Yeah, that's all we know. I'm not flash. I'm not pretentious.
We would do all of that.
And the toasted sandwich.
Wait a minute. We would do all of that just for you acting as our ranger ahead of our mission. Additionally, we can top you up by, say, 1 million credits if you can supply us with the information that will help us zero in our mission sooner rather than later, and without us having to deal with a corrupt individual.
Stefan just says each.
No. But it's worth 1 million credits.
Agnar will quickly, if you don't mind, Luke.
I'll go for it.
He'll just say, whilst you're upgrading the ship, I don't suppose there's any scope for you to increase the jump range, fuel capacity. Is that what that relates to?
I'm not an expert on such things. I'd have to pass the matter to a naval architect to tell me if it's possible. I am aware that historically it has proven difficult to do such things without completely ripping a ship apart and putting it back together as a completely different vessel. So I suspect that may prove too difficult. But 1 million credits is essentially what Paul Street is asking for his information. That and charges dropped and him being allowed to go free. We're perfectly happy to pay 1 million credits. I don't want to pay it to a man like him. I'd rather pay it to you. We'll do the refit of the ship for free. We will see what we can do about the range, but I wouldn't get too optimistic about that. We will supply you with an extremely lavish bar, including those 3 whiskies, and not just one, but 2 mid-market cheap shit coffee makers.
2 coffee makers.
But you're not getting a sandwich toast.
No sandwich maker. I don't know.
That's a hard bargain. How many sandwich makers can we buy with a mini quid?
How about a waffle? How about a waffle machine?
A waffle iron?
Yeah.
No waffle iron. No sandwich maker.
No deal, Mr. Nurse. No deal.
No toasted carbohydrates of any kind.
You do drive.
No, sorry, I've lost my point in all this. Madness.
It's too thrilling. Can we think about our answer over a break, perhaps?
Of course you can.
Fantastic.
And with that, she sort of shows you back out to the waiting room to have a quiet conversation. And that is indeed exactly a good moment for us to take a 5-minute break and stop there for a moment.
Fantastic. Right, so we can take a break. I'm going to ping up some adverts in a minute. But before that, if anyone wants Ewan's cursed dice, the deal is still open. He hasn't rolled the double one yet. So we're waiting on it. If you want it'll come. If you want a horse in the race, then select that little ticket, enter your prize draw. We'll post them anywhere in the world. It's worth it just for that curse. You two can spread the curse among your dice like some horrible disease. And we'll do that when we come back from break, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, cool. Right, we'll be back in 5 minutes then, guys. Hang around, don't go anywhere, but fill your glass for the toast. Oh dear, I've got to find the break bit now. There's a break bit. There we go. We'll leave. I've still got the sound on, just so people know. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, we're off. Okay.
Are you the kind of person or unspeakable nightmare horror who likes actual play podcasts, but occasionally wants a break from all the high fantasy heroics? If so, you should check out Negative Modifier, an actual play podcast that specializes in darker, more mature games. You can find us on YouTube, Twitch, and more or less anywhere else podcasts can be found.
Pop. I tell you what, we'll leave all the rest, because I think he deserves his space. Over to you, Ewan.
We up.
We are up. Someone
Wow.
joined just in time for the most important part of the evening.
Just in time for the most important part of the evening. As is tradition aboard the Baltic Star, when we reach this time of the evening, we like to give a toast to our fallen comrade, NPC, barman, our own croque monsieur, if you will. Agnar to this day still maintains that he made the best peanut butter and banana toasted sandwich that he's ever eaten.
But how did he make it?
He's now starting to question how on earth he made it due to the severe lack of toasted sandwich maker on board the ship, apparently. But it is at this point that I would like to ask you all to raise a glass to Grey Hill Bast.
It's a great best. He was the best of us. Right, on that bombshell, let's give away something. after that deep happiness. Right, it's a heads up. I'll drink to that, Mr. Leno. The ghastly sloth. Actually, we'll offer the ghastly sloth before we do the draw. Then you've just made it just in time.
Yeah. Why not?
Hello, ghastly sloth, and your party of 7. We were just about to. Actually, I'll drink to that too. We were just about to give away something. You may be interested or may not be interested. It's totally for free. If any of you have got 200 of our points, if you click on that ticket, you can enter our free prize draw. You don't have to win Ewan's cursed dice. The first 2 dice he rolls a double 1 on will get posted to you and your house so that you can put them in the jar with all your rest of your dice and they'll roll badly for all eternity. What a prize. We were just about to draw it, but we're happy to give a second if any of you want to join in the prize draw before we continue. Here we go.
Oh, there
we go. Right.
Now, I said to myself, when these people came in, I said, these seem like the kind of people who like cursed dice.
Especially Dread Pirate definitely likes cursed dice. He's all about the curse. Ghastly Sloth. I'm losing the scroll here. This is not good. Ghastly Sloth. Is that my 2? And the Ghastly Sloth. And Ali as well. Okay. Million. I'll just about Ali. You know who you are, Ali. Right, here we go. It's a good draw.
I'm hoping it's going to scare the other dice into falling in line and performing as they do.
Yes.
Or risk being exiled.
Yeah, you two could end up in another exciting country.
Stuffed in an envelope for a week. No air holes.
At least we'll do it in the slowest possible postage.
Second class, yeah.
Right, there we go. Right, we've got 5 then. What dice have you got with you, Ian?
I've got 6s. I've got a 5. Do you want a D5?
You got a D5?
Got a
Get involved with the D5.
Horrific D5.
Ben, is a D5
like a D4, but worse.
Ben, is a D5 more offensive than a D? Is it D10 that you hate or D12? D10.
D10.
Is it more?
I think D10s are an absolute abomination. Yes.
Well,
they're evil things.
Let's roll up this D5 then. We've got 5 people in the prize draw. Go on.
That is a 4.
Ghastly Sloth, congratulations! Ghastly Sloth has a dice gel to fix it as well.
Yes, that's perfectly lovely.
It may be a while until I roll one.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it probably won't be a while until I roll one.
But the first time Ewan rolls a double one with dice, any of his d6s, those two will be winging their way to you.
Yeah, I'll be coming your way. Do you happen to follow either you and I on Twitter at all, Ghastly Sloth? Do you have Baltic Star on Twitter? Yeah, that's true. Ben's going to need them. If not, if you at Boys Baltic on Twitter, if you're at Twitter, and then add, if we don't already, and then we'll get the address off you, and we can we'll send it all, we'll sort it all out. Okay, just make sure we won't forget. We'll just sort it.
We'll clip it as well. We might clip it on Twitter and post the video. So we'll put it out there.
And actually, we have got another prize which is just loading up now for our next prize for the second half of the show. If anyone wants to join into this, tell me, is it loaded? Yes. For the second half of the show, we've got an Etsy store which has a number of things in, but part of it is a few mugs. We've got a Boys from the Baltic Star mug, which looks like that. We've got another one with the Grey Hill Bast picture on. Ewan's got one there, I believe, which is about Traveller. The winner of this prize draw will get any of those mugs of their choice. They can check them out. Any mugs of their choice delivered to their house for free. We will get the mug for you and send it to you. Let me just delete all the names off this list. You don't get on there. You don't get on there for free. But this draw will go on until we hit 10 or until the end of the episode. So.
Yes, we will. If we get 10, then that's where it stops. If not, then we'll wait until we need to, and we'll make the draw.
Absolutely. What a day! Dice and a mug. What more do you need in life?
Exactly.
Oh, Ali's entered it already. Okay. Yeah. Coffee mugs.
So, in fact, if we're going for 10, I think Ben. If we get to 10, Ben should definitely roll the d10.
Oh, it feels fitting.
It certainly does.
All right, but if I roll a 1 on it, it's getting added to your cursed box.
I mean, that seems fair.
If it rolls a 1, Ali will be happy because it's her that entered first.
Yeah. Oh, people are all over.
No, nuclear. It's a good one. Oh no. Hang on.
I just want to see you delete all the names and then put them back on again.
Let me stay in graphics while Ben tells everyone what we're up to next.
Yeah.
Right. Well, actually, before we get back to it, I will just give a quick reminder that this is our Summer of Love, and accordingly, we have a set of different events that we're doing. And after this one, the next one is actually on Tuesday. I'm doing the next of the behind the screens streams on Tuesday at 11 UK time, and then the next Thursday, so Thursday of next week, is You Are 100 Goblins in Space.
In space.
Which is our Thursday game, which is a one sheet, looks fairly manic and chaotic, and I'm sure it'll be an absolute riot. Then next Friday we're doing the next of these, the next episode in our ongoing campaign. So whatever floats your boat over the next week, that's what we're doing over the next week for Summer of Love. And I've put up the poster. You can see the ones that are coming up further on. And yes, on Thursday the 22nd, we are indeed playing Delta Green, and I shall probably be rolling D20s and discounting the most significant digit.
Your hatred of D10s is so vast. Give him a bane on that, Leno. Don't let him get away with that.
Yes. I just don't see why I should put up with an irregular polyhedron in my dice bag. I just don't see why I should.
Ooh.
Well, just in your life in general, I think.
Yes.
More from life than a regular polyhedron.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So where we last left off, you were just deciding whether or not to take up the Deep Night Corporation's offer.
We troop back into the room. You know, like when Dragon's Den, when they have a little talk at the back, and then they go back to the dragons, and they've had their little whisper and they approach it, and Kara will say, "We would like to accept your offer."
That's excellent. I think that's a very, very wise choice. So, will you also be accepting the 1,000,000 credits?
Well, I don't see why not. It's not doing us any particular favours. Do we get to keep a copy, or do you take the full ownership for that 1,000,000 credits?
We would want to have control of that information.
Okay. Fair enough. Are we happy with that, Agnar?
I mean, we haven't done anything with it in, how long's it been? A while.
Oh.
You won't say that out loud, but yeah, you know, I think we're happy with that.
Think of all the annual passes to Earth Park you could buy with 1,000,000 credits.
A fair few,
Yes.
certainly.
In which case, we accept that deal also.
Okay. If you can arrange to have the transfer of the materials, I will have my team verify them, of course. And then we will transfer the money as soon as we're sure it's the information we need.
Fantastic. We sort of buzz through the details for Baltic Inc., our shared Baltic Star account that everything goes through. You can't be too careful. Because Kara's going to get on the laptop in a minute to do some trading anyway, so I'll ping it through then. I'm getting on the laptop in a minute, so I'll ping it through to you then.
Okay. All right.
Oh yeah, so many Tim tips, Barry. You're right. Tim will be living the life of luxury.
Tim will be able to retire.
all the Tims will be able to retire.
All
with
the
that.
tips
Yeah.
retire.
Oh. Except the new one downstairs, Sparrow. He didn't play along very well. It's a bit too. Okay. So, is that the meeting over? Is she happy? Is she done at this point?
She is entirely happy. And then as you sort of get up to leave, she says, there is one other thing I feel I should probably mention. We haven't received a response yet, but we made an offer of employment for a member of your crew.
Yes, we've spoken to the member of our crew.
Stefan looks shocked.
Oh yeah, sorry, Stefan. We didn't tell you that.
Who? Who's leaving?
It's your mate. Your mate's been given an offer. Oh, Richard.
I've spoken to him twice this morning. He didn't mention it. He didn't say a word to me.
Well, apparently got given a really good offer to go on the deep night, the big deep night ship, the Revelation. He was loving the idea. I don't think, even with this, I don't think we can offer him what he wants. Ours is only a little short trip. He's got visions of being on a big ship for 6 to 10 years, retiring, living the dream. But at least we've got a younger model to replace him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't suppose we can begrudge him for that. And as you say, we do happen to have another pilot lined up.
and Sarai chips in, and I can fly those ship as well, just about. Why does everyone overlook me when it comes to it?
Playing for the geeks.
Yeah, up the geeks.
Up the geeks.
Up the geeks. I can fly that ship just about.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. She says, well, if you can arrange to have your ship brought into the naval station, then we will arrange for the upgrades.
Cool.
How long are they roughly gonna take? Ragnar would ask.
Can you roll a d6 for me, please?
Yeah.
I should make you roll 2 just in case it comes up double 1. Actually.
Oh yeah, make him roll 2. And then you can always halve
Roll
it.
2.
2.5. Yeah. That is an 8.
No way of getting ones out of that. Okay, fair enough. It will take a little over 2 weeks, 15, 16 days.
Oh, that's useful. Ah,
One.
lucky we've got something to do over the next 15, 16 days.
Ragnar will say, well, that works out almost perfectly for us. It appears as though the stars have aligned.
Ah.
Superb.
I'll drink to that. I can't click the button. I don't have the power to do that, but I'll drink to that. The stars are lining.
I'll do it for you.
Thank you, mate. It's the irony. I've got unlimited credits, but half of them I'm not allowed to click on.
Can't spend it. Like that genie wish, isn't it?
Yeah.
You wish for something from a genie, and they give you what you want, but it's terrible. Unlimited credits, but you can never spend them.
Yeah. Oh. Sad.
Akbar will say, actually, I think we had one more thing to bring up with you, if you don't mind, quickly. Let's look around to the crew. We the last representative of your company that we spoke to, we sent them the plans for the test, the BAS test, if you will.
Yes.
With a percentage return to ourselves.
Indeed.
We just wondered how things were coming along with the test.
The test has been extensively replicated. Machines have been calibrated for it, and it will be sent with all of the flotilla of escort ships, along with the Revelation herself, and naturally, a BAS test will also occupy the space that you may have whimsically reserved for a toasted sandwich maker.
That certainly sounds more sensible than grilled cheese.
There will be a significant number of these being produced. However, I suspect you won't see major returns until those ships start to arrive at their destinations and begin to offer out those same specifications to the planets they arrive at en route.
Well, then I suppose it's a good job that we decided to show you the information. But thank you for the update. We do eagerly await hearing of its success.
Absolutely no problem. And if there's anyone else you hear of who has a skill set that might be useful for us and who isn't too otherwise engaged, please point them in our direction. We are recruiting at the moment.
All of the usual positions for missions.
This is a large ship. There are thousands of crew spaces. We're looking for examples of pretty much everything, from translators to medics to people skilled in combat, engineers, pilots, you name it.
Stefan will look over at Sarai and he'll say, "You know a pretty good receptionist, stroke concierge, don't you?"
Early evening, he won't let you down.
Yeah,
He's the best. He's the best of the best.
A steward, you mean, essentially?
He's the cream of the crop. The best steward you'll find. The best steward you'll find this side of Omero. I just had to read the little
contact information in case we do come across anyone, and we'll pass it on to them, including our friend.
Absolutely. Yes, she fires over relevant contact details for exactly that reason.
Cool. Perfect.
Nice one. In which case, are we happily? Is our life complete here, Ewan? Have we enjoyed this beautiful office with its little opaque walls?
Yeah.
In which case, we'll bid you adieu for now. It's not goodbye. We'll be back in 15 or 16 days. We've got an NPC, Ben, you need to make note of. Ivan von Cotswold.
Okay. Ivan von Cotswold this time. Von Cotswold this time. Okay. A slightly unrelated.
It almost snuck you by.
Very nearly. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Leno. As always, making my job easier.
Right. We'll head out the office then. Get back in the old lift.
Mm-hmm.
And head down, I guess. Are we okay with that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. So you make your way back outside. You are on the peak of Venti.
We've got a couple of calls we need to make, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Are you okay if we do one each, Ewan, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it. I mean, you do the one that's you. Like, you've got all the
I've got the info.
tradie mixed up, haven't you?
That's true. We've got 3 calls to make. I forgot. Hang on. Let me send you a message. Hang on. Talk amongst yourselves, everyone. This is good telly, this. We need that one. We need that one. We
Cool.
need...
Evening Tim, afternoon Tim, nighttime Tim.
Yeah, just to make sure.
Offer them all a job.
We need that one. And we need those people. That's who we need, Ewan. Those 3 people. Let's not ruin it for people. Oh, we've got an NPC while that's happening. Good work, Nuclear Winter. Jebediah Krangleduk.
Jebediah Krangleduk.
Yep.
I shall add Jebediah to the list.
You're never going to need to come up with the name ever again, I think, at this rate, man.
You'd be surprised how many I'm going to need for buckyball teams coming up very soon.
That's
true. That's true.
A lot of good buckyball players. Have you got one out of those 3 that you'd like most, Ewan?
I'm happy with the last one.
Okay, cool. I'll start with the second.
Right?
I'll do the second one first.
We've also got to call the guy at the other end for that, so I can do both of them if you want.
That sounds like a good plan. I like it. Yeah.
Cool.
That's it. Leno, Sparrow, make it a challenge. You might be able to name both teams. The Von Cotswolds versus the Grandmothers.
I'm afraid you can't name teams. I'm sorry. If you put names in, I will decide what they go for. They can't team them, I'm afraid. Sorry about that.
Oh, poor Jebediah Krangleduk. Okay, I'm going to call... I would like to call Pramus, please.
Okay.
Before I do, though, can I scan with the device just to check we're not being... Look, can we walk far away enough that no one from the building can see? And then can I scan to check we're not being spied upon?
Yes. Electronics communication +1 plus your intellect, please.
Thank you. And you've got an NPC waiting for you while I do this. Electronics comms +1, so that's 3. Intellect +5 should be good.
Alma Kennedy, thank you, Sparrow.
9 + 5 is a lot. 14.
14.
Yeah, please.
Okay. You don't detect any kind of listening device.
Yeah.
And you're pretty confident the scan went very well. You felt you were able to get into every nook and cranny.
Felt like I nailed it. I was in the pocket, as it were. Cool.
Yeah, you can tell that because Agnar's looking slightly cross-eyed. You really did.
every nook and cranny.
Whilst that's going on, Stefan will he'll approach Kara while she's, waving her scanner. He's seen this enough times to know what's going on now, and he'll just say, when we get that ship back in 2 weeks' time, I want every single inch of that ship scanned.
That'll be a really enjoyable weekend. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'll make you a toasted cheese sandwich.
Not that you can.
You've got a flamethrower.
With what?
Yeah. Oh man, I bet that makes a good cheese sandwich.
This is gonna be the bane of my life. The lack of cheese sandwich maker. Okay, let's call Mummy Premise, please.
Okay.
Our Navy Mummy.
Okay. Can you roll 1d6 for me, please?
It's either very good or very bad. 1.
Okay. Almost immediately, you get a response. Officer Pramus.
Hi, Officer Pramus. This is Carl Alaska. How are you doing?
About the same.
Cool. Do you remember? Well, you would do. I say, do you remember? I know you will. The conversation we had around the wonderful world of Austin about contacting you about our dealings with Deep Night.
Yes, I remember it quite distinctly. In fact, I seem to recall I was quite insistent that you let me know any valuable information.
Well, today might well be a lucky day, because I feel we've got information to give, and I feel that another deal could be made about information going forward.
Really?
Absolutely. You see, how about I give you some information now? I'll tell you what. Let's talk about the potential for a deal of the future. You can think about what the deal might be, and then I'll give you what we know now, and then you can decide whether to go on after that. If that wasn't too jumbled. I guess going forwards, we're happy to continue in contact with you, but there's kind of 2 things, I guess, that we would appreciate for more information going forwards.
Very well.
Firstly, it's comforting to know that your Imperial fleet kind of has our back somewhat. We don't expect people to jump to our defence around every corner, but it's nice to know that we've got a voice we can talk to, if something comes up that is also of interest to you. So it's nice to have, some mutual, having our back along mutual things, if that makes sense. That would be lovely to continue. The other thing is, the lady, Carmen Velas.
Yes.
Is she still alive?
Awaiting trial.
I've got colleagues that have worked in the military for many years, as you know, and I spent time sort of doing a lot of visual media and interviews with them. So I've spoken to a lot of military people, and I know that there are some secrets that not just they have been sworn to secrecy, but their children and their children's children. So I know that if things need to be secret and kept secret, things can happen in secrecy. And no one will ever know about it apart from the person in the room, who will never breathe a word of it for 100 years. I guess for our continued input and for our continued information, as well as that sort of support, knowing that we've got a listening ear and, someone keeping an eye out for us, we would also like you to find Carmen Velas and her family a home on another planet where they can restart their lives. I know that you can make it so that, the trial goes and she's guilty and then she vanishes along the way, and yet people are still told that the execution happened. We're just wondering if that was something you could do, just sort of like spirit her away and her family and start elsewhere. I know that I understand the reason for it, but, we can't help but feel somewhat responsible for this lady. And we don't ask for much, and we will offer you more information for that going forward.
So what you are asking me to do is to find a way to make sure a woman who murdered the governor of an imperial world to not face any punishment whatsoever.
Yes. But trust me, the information we've got is far bigger than the governor of Osin.
Well, make a persuade check with Bane.
Oh, I've only had 2 hot dice. Oh, has anyone got a boom?
Making good.
What, a persuade, did you say?
A persuade check, yep, with what are we going to go for? It's going to have to be intellect with her.
Oh, that's good.
And it's going to be Bane.
Yeah, that's okay. At least it's a plus. At least it's going to be a +4 to my Bane. Come on, one dice has got a roll. Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
What was the cold one?
So what does it add up to?
14. 14.
A total of 14?
Yeah, and it was a hot one that rolled the 4.
Okay. I was not expecting that.
Nor was I, to be honest. I'm a bit embarrassed with it, actually.
She thinks about it for a very, very long time. And then she says, all right. And yes, you needed 14.
I did need 14. Wow. Oh, I got little palpitations. I haven't had these palpitations for a little while. And I've not even been drinking.
I think that's only the second time in the entire campaign you've had to hit a 14 for anything.
Really? Oh, my goodness.
And it saved the woman's life, an innocent woman's life.
I'm having funny times. That's good because it was our fault. It was our fault that she was...
Well...
wrong place, wrong time. I'll drink to that, Alex. It's Stefan's fault. No, it's Agnar's fault.
Yeah. Stefan would definitely say, well...
Well, it was what was done was what was done. That's wonderful. Okay, I suppose you need some information then.
Be handy.
We are... The Baltic Star is being refit, and in a couple of weeks' time, you will see... so we're going to be moving out from next to your cruiser, and it's going to be fit at the Deep Night shipyard, because we are going out sort of as rangers ahead of a very large expedition, and then she'll talk about what you talked about the loop that the route was taken. You mentioned it earlier, didn't you, about certain parts of space around there? So she'll talk about the route that it's going to take, and she'll bring up about the gloop, which we always assumed she kind of might have known anyway, and just sort of gave all the information to that point, and that it'd be the first leg of the journey. There'll be a flotilla of ships that we're going ahead to check off resources, and just sort of make sure there's a way for this big mission to go forward to hunt down what it is. And yeah, until basically up to that point, what we know.
Okay. That's good. It's not bad. I'm going to need people I can trust inside the mission, however.
Well, funny you should mention that. They are hiring. They're like Weatherspoons when everything opened up again and they realised they'd kicked out all their stuff. They're short.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone in particular that you'd like us to put a word in for?
I have a fairly reliable agent in mind. I've recently lost track of him, but I suspect you can find him for me.
Okie dokie. Do we know this agent?
Yes, you brought him here.
He'll go down perfectly. They're looking for security. I think he's carrying out something at the minute. In fact, we're just about to call him. But we'll
Oh dear.
And then, and we'll sort of send him in that direction to get on board the ship. Not a problem. I'm sure he'll love it. It's a very long mission,
All right.
I've heard.
Make sure I've got a reliable person inside the ship. Ideally, 2 or 3.
Okay. Okay. I'm sure we can find a few more. 2 or 3. All right. Okay. We'll get on that. I'll get back to you. I'll give you when I've got everyone. When I know who, we'll give you a rundown of who's on there. Put your mind at ease.
Excellent.
Thank you very much for your time, Officer Pramis. It's a pleasure as always, and thank you for being so quick to answer. 4 stars.
You're welcome. I might be slightly slower next time.
Not if I keep rolling ones.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. So Kara will feed back to the others that we need to get Sever and another couple of people that Pramis would trust on board. This is on board the big ship. This is on board the Revelation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, on the Revelation. Yeah, okay. So it's people that are willing to do it. And what about Agnar? What about Sever's boyfriend?
He's on the Baltic Star at the minute.
At the minute, yeah, I'm sure he'd want to travel with Sever.
Yeah. What's his background?
Reggie Schmidt.
Yeah, Schmitty.
Yeah, Schmitty.
What was his background?
You never really got a complete handle on it, but the strong impression you got was small-time crook.
All ships need a small-time crook.
So he could do anything really. He'd be perfect
Pretty much.
for a senior officer's position. Okay, cool. Stefan will just turn around to the group and he'll say, "Do we still need to contact the Aslan's aid, or has that been? Did we do that?"
You haven't actually made contact to arrange either the Sever attempt or the actual trip up to the soon-to-arrive Buckyball Stadium ship.
Okay. Stefan will call up the contact that we have for the Aslan's aid.
Okay.
He'll say, "Oh yes, hello. My name's Stefan. We had brunch with your employer." And then he'll sort of turn to Soraya and he'll just go, "Oh yes, I'll be there in a minute." And go back. "Sorry, I'm just at another brunch actually with Soraya from the Giikur Geeks. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Up the gates.
Up the geeks.
Up the gates.
We were at brunch with your employer the other day, and he had mentioned arranging for a friend of ours to get into Earth Park, who was having a bit of trouble, provided that your entry the other day went well. assume it did.
My name's March Temple. Nice to make your acquaintance. It turned out that this morning's trip to Earth Park was very smooth. Yes. The trip for tomorrow morning, I suspect we'll have one or more available seats, should you wish to make that happen.
Wonderful. Firstly, out of character, I've just sent Luke a DM asking him why the hell I've got March Temple written in my notes. That'd be why.
That'd be why.
I was thinking, like, some kind of temple. What this guy? We didn't talk to him about temples. What's going on?
So it's to do
Why
with
have I got March Temple?
Are we back at the
The only
Seabats
two
again?
words that I've got, I haven't got anything else written next to them. But now it all makes sense.
Right.
Stefan will say, so if I pass your contact details along to our friend and they get in touch with you, I know how these things work, obviously, socially.
Okay. Can you make a persuade check for me with social in this case?
Oh, God damn it.
Oh no. Hang on, what is...
I knew I picked the wrong person. I just wanted to get a bit of Soraya playing for the geeks in there. Well, that's pretty good. That's a 9 plus 1. Is 10.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. Please connect us, and we'll do the next trip first thing tomorrow morning.
Wonderful, that's perfect. I'll send your information over to them straight away.
Very nice to make your acquaintance.
And yourself. And yourself. Good day. He'll sort of look around awkwardly.
Good day. Good day.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Be seeing you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll get a cat while I'm there.
Don't tell.
Yeah. And then he'll look around and he'll say, Seba? Do you want me to call Seba?
Ah, yes, please do. I'm sure he'll love to hear your voice.
And then he'll pick up the phone and ring Seba.
About bloody time.
Communicator.
Wait, is that you or Seva? Sorry.
Seba.
Barry! Whoa!
Hi, Seba. Stefan. We've got a few leads for you. I'm going to ping you over some contact information for somebody who can get you into Earth Park. No questions asked. They're a bit of a hoity-toity type though, so you might need to play it down while you're on board. But they can get you in tomorrow morning. That
sounds ideal. Thank you.
I'll send you the contact information over. We've also been in.
Oh no.
And Deep Night are currently recruiting. She's keen that yourself and 1 or 2 others find position on their lead ship.
Okay.
And he'll explain the expedition and what's going on.
Realistically, I don't think I'm going back to Austin, am I? So, right. Yeah. I don't want to make direct contact with Pramus, just in case. I'll follow the link you suggested and set up an arrangement with the Deep Night lot. But it'll have to wait until after tomorrow. I don't want to have any communications records that would link to them in case I get nabbed tomorrow or anything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that makes sense. I suppose they run security, don't they? But
Black Sun.
That's Black Sun.
That's Black Sun. Oh, every time they get there.
They're both quite dark, both of them. Though.
Yeah. Well, exactly. He'll then say, "What do you want us to do with Smitty? Can I take him with you?"
If I'm setting off on a different ship, yeah, he'll come with me, I'm sure.
Okay. She wants reliable people on the ship.
Reliable people and Smitty.
Well, I'll let you be the judge of that, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll find a way.
I never really got to know the guy. My only real friend on the ship is Richard.
Oh no, Richard! Oh.
I'm pretty sure by the time Reggie actually turns up for his job interview, he will have the most amazing history serving in the Imperial Navy for some reason.
Wonderful. Just a heads up as well. When you're on board, you may see the captain from the Baltic Star. I believe is going over there to work for them. He is not anything to do with Kramus or the reason that you're being sent there. He's a legitimate employee of the company. So don't act surprised. Don't give yourself away, I suppose. Just as a heads up.
Thank you. Good tip.
I'll ping the information over now.
Many thanks.
Good day, sir. He says awkwardly left over from the previous conversation that he'd had. And then just look around at everyone again and sort of shrug. And he'll fire over the information for the aid and I guess the stuff for the recruiting from Deep Night as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I mean he can. You can send him the information. He just won't make contact with Deep Night until after Strickworth Park.
Yeah, exactly. Cool.
Okay, fair enough. What's next?
Let's go. I'm guessing it's sort of lunchish time, is it? After a couple of hours in there and getting there.
It probably is getting on for, yeah.
Then Carl will say, "Let's grab lunch somewhere nice because we've only got another day and a bit on this planet. Let's grab lunch somewhere so I can get my computer fired up, send the stuff over that Deep Night need, and then I'll get in touch with Auric while we're sat round eating."
Mm-hmm.
So ideally, that's not going to be Rena, is it? That's going to be back to Larta.
Well, you know of obviously two social places on Larta, but the one you've eaten at before was the Trail's End.
Do you want to go back to the Trail's End?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, one last go at the Trail's End.
At the Trail's End.
Okay. So you return to the Trail's End, which is now you're familiar with the way it works. It's not a slowly dawning realization. You're picking it up long before you walk inside. That this is very much a tourist trick, and nonetheless, it seems busy. There are tourists, there are locals, there are people coming along to enjoy the atmosphere and the slightly boisterous nature, and waiting for the next little improvised or semi-improvised floor show that will happen somewhere in the Trail's End.
Agnar probably relaxes a lot more into it now, realising from last time what's going on, and he's, in full-on tourist mode with the park and everything else, I think, at this point.
Understood.
Probably gets quite excited about it and goes along with it equally as much as the barbecue and the animals.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a table in the corner that we can get the Cara can sit up in a setup that we could all sit at?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. Then she'll make straight for it. Sit kind of with her back to the wall so people can't look, but understanding that Stefan probably wants the prime back to the wall seat there possibly is.
The prime not back to the room seat, yeah.
So she'll sort of pointedly sort of sit in the second most private seat around the table and sort of open up her laptop.
Yes, understood. So, yes, she can absolutely find a place to set up her computer and begin working away. As a crew, you order some drinks and a fairly hearty, if simple, lunch. As last time, the food and drinks are actually perfectly decent quality, even quite nice quality, but they are very simple food and overpriced for what they are. But the food is perfectly nice. The drinks are nicely put together, and they are of good quality.
Oh, that's all right then. So while that's happening, Cara will send the files with as much. She's got security and stuff on her computer, so she'll put as much security and encryption and stuff as possible to send the files over.
Okay, can you make an electronics computer check with the +2, I think it is, from the machine itself?
Thank you. Yep. Yes. It's a +2.
And intellect.
Okay, that should be +5. And that is an 8. +5 is 13.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It pings away smartly, and as far as you can tell, no problem.
And then she'll get in touch with Auric, if that's okay.
Yes.
To do some trading.
Okay. Yes. Auric picks up his communication pretty much immediately, and he works for a living after all. And he says, "Auric de Salve, how can I help?"
Cool. We've got a Rose's cap for after the trade. That'll be a nice refresher after some numbers. Hi, this is Cara. We've been in touch before about. Oh no, okay. We'll do it first. Sparrow's got to go. Do the Rose's.
Okay.
Cool. That's okay,
cap,
Leno.
sorry.
That's okay, Sparrow. We'll do a Rose's cap before Leno and Sparrow have to leave.
Rose's cat. Meanwhile, aboard the Baltic Star, Kron Sarama was carrying out some unexpectedly difficult work. He was modifying the door to Rose's stateroom as he sat just outside the doorway. Not in itself a difficult task, just a case of popping the access panel and making some adjustments. The unexpected difficulty was caused by the fact that every time he reached into the box for the next tool he needed, he came out with a kitten instead. Each time he would carefully place the kitten to one side, and each time it would throw itself back into the box. "Excuse me?" Rose's voice came from the companionway. "Hey, just sorting out your door. Now you've got this little gremlin." He held up his hand to illustrate his point, the kitten dangling from it. "Oh," said Rose. "What needs to be changed?" Kron shrugged. "Axis asked me to just run a feed over. Basically, the inside of the door will have about 1,500 volts running through it. Won't affect you because you'll use the control panel, but it should teach the cat to stay well away from the door." Rose was just staring at him in abject horror. After a moment, she started making indecipherable vowel sounds. Kron looked up, smiling. "Not really. I'm just rigging it so you can leave the door open a crack, well, however much you want. You're able to lock it, but with enough gap for your fuzzy terrorist to come and go at will." "Oh," said Rose. "Thanks. Anything I can do to help?" Kron reached into his toolbox, pulled out the kitten and held it out to her. "Remove cat," he said. Rose took the kitten in one hand, gave a slight salute with the other, and strolled off to show caboodle around the ship.
Oh,
Nice.
Good old Sarama. I knew he was one of the good guys. I was worried for a second.
So there's your Rosie's cat for tonight.
You're welcome. Go in peace, Sparrow. Go in peace, Leno. We'll speak about it soon. If either of you win, the mug will let you know later. But yeah, cool.
Yes.
Take
Have
care.
a good night. Thank
Speak
you
to
for
you
joining.
soon. Ta-da. And now they've gone. Let's do some trading.
Trading.
And send everyone else after them. I'll keep it short, everyone. Okay.
So those who haven't seen Trading in Traveller, it is exciting. You won't believe this. There are dice rolls and everything.
Okay. Hi. Yes, we've spoken. I've got 20 tons of uncommon ore with precious metals. That I've told you that already, actually. But I'm looking to sell it. I've heard that you're a good man to go to. You got some good contacts. What can you do me for it?
Let's see.
And I'm not desperate because I've got space on the ship. I made sure of it.
This one. Okay. So it's going to be plus 1/5A with. Okay. I'm going to need you to roll 2d6 for me, please. You can add your broker skill.
Okay, yep, I've got that.
And then you can also add +1 on top of that.
Oh, thank you. Oh, it's not so great, though. That's going to be a 4 + 2 is 6. That's all going so well.
6.
She's still learning to be a trader.
I can offer you. I've got a buyer for you. 3,500 a ton.
Okay, bear with me a sec.
So that'd be a total of 70,000.
I was hoping for a bit more. That feels low. I was thinking closer to 110. Is there as a way to open our trading account? I guess as a first time, you being the guy we go to first when we get back to Planet again. Whenever we come back, he'll be our first man of anything of this sort.
It's the best price I've got on the books today, I'm afraid. You could always try tomorrow.
Okay, we'll try tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Ta-ra. We'll be in touch. It wasn't much more than we bought it for you, and I'll do it again tomorrow. And roll better than a 6, hopefully.
I trust your judgment.
Statistically,
Brokering judgment.
What's the statistically? I have to roll more than a 4 tomorrow. I feel there's a chance in that.
With your +1.
Well, I've got +2, so I just need to roll a 5 or more to get a better deal potentially. So should be okay. Okay, Cara sort of shakes her head at the others, shrugs her shoulders, says, "I'm still learning. I'll try again tomorrow." Slams down the lid, grabs the drink, and raises her bottle to everyone, and says, "To new adventures."
To new adventures.
Oh, I've tricked her that.
I will pause for a little minute.
New adventure.
New adventures.
And Stefan and I'm assuming Sarai are
Absolutely.
straight in there.
Okay. All right. You complete your general your general eating and drinking experience, and it's not very many minutes after you sort of push back your chairs and are starting to think about what to do next that you get a message from Seva, and he says, "Yeah, hi there, guys. Slight change of plans. Looks like the noble Aslan bloke. He's going back to Earth Park this afternoon. So if you needed to be somewhere else where I'm going in, or if you needed to be aboard when I'm going in, I'm getting picked up from the main market in Venti in about 20 minutes.
Oh, an adventure.
Stefan will look up from the message that he's just received, and he'll be, do we want to stay out of this, or do we need to get involved? Feels like we've got quite a good thing lined up. You know me. I'm pretty easygoing.
Zoe, what are you wanting to steer well clear of this?
I don't know. It's one of those things, isn't it? There could be some fun to be had. There could be some risk. Who knows?
Agnar says, if we are going in, I'm walking in the front door. I've got an annual pass.
Cara will say, "I'll tell you what then, Agnar, why don't we go in together through the front?" And Sarai's interested in going a bit cloak and daggery. Sarai will be like, "Oh, if I'm allowed to go with the old buckyball guy, I'd like to go in with him. That could be a bit fun, sneaking around. And if we do get stopped, we have got the multi-passes if we get stopped."
Yeah, it's not like you're in there.
Got every right to be there.
Stefan will join. I mean, it seems like a natural split of the party, doesn't it? Okay.
So, Stefan, Soraya, and Zoe are going to Venti to get on the ship.
Yeah.
And Agnar and Kara are going back round to the airship route, the dirigible route, from Elia.
Yeah. I guess they'll do the real sightseeing style, I guess, the sightseers approach.
Okay. Then you're going to need to get a bit of a hustle on, because you've got a longer route round, and then you've got to get the dirigible over. So,
yes, direct.
So, and they'll probably fly straight there once they get off, but they've got a longer wait, of course, before their transport.
Yeah. As the group separate, Agnar will just point to his communicator and just be like, "We'll stay in touch."
Call me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Poor old needy Agnar.
Yes. Okay. So, fair enough. So, as is always the safest way to do things in any RPG, the party separates.
Yes. Too right.
And one half of the party, actually a little bit less, but a half of the PCs in the party, trot down to the transport hub to go west and south out to Elia to catch the airship route, a journey that will take around about half an hour just to get to Elia before they can get on the airship. But the airships at this time of day are going to be pretty frequent. Meanwhile, 3 of your party, 2 of your PCs, head back to Venti. And not very far from the transit stop, there is indeed a large market. Venti has an internal airport, which is used for flying goods from island to island. And there is a fairly substantial trade area and open market In fact, if you remember, it's where Kat said she'd flown to first thing in the morning to collect eggs.
Oh, the eggs.
And that's because, fresh produce grown in various parts of the environment here, and obviously a great deal of fresh fish, is landed there. Fish being a major export. As you arrive at the edge of the market square, you see there are an awful lot of local air raft and dirigibles and various different designs of flying machine parked along the edge of the peak there, the eastern side. And it isn't very long before you spot Sever, and he waves enthusiastically, and then immediately turns his back. As soon as he sees that you spotted him, he turns his back, and you look at what he's looking at. And as you approach, you see that coming in over the sort of edge of the island out to the east, very, very clearly highlighted against the sort of deep blue ocean, is an absolutely immense yacht. As it starts to come in, you think, that's not even going to fit here. There's just no way. There's no sort of parking space here big enough for that. And as it closes, the yacht seems to literally break apart in midair, and the nose of it separates, becoming what is clearly a sort of smaller shuttle space. And that comes down to land, while the main body of the yacht banks and turns away and heads back into the distance, climbing fairly dramatically. You see that lovely moment as that little corona of white mist bursts around its wingtips as it breaks the sound barrier. These are the playthings of a very, very wealthy man, a very wealthy Aslan, in fact. He touches down with absolute flawless precision. The hatch opens, the ladder drops. You sort of walk up to the steps and look aboard. There's an immensely plush interior, and standing at the top of the stairs with a smile on her face, literally holding out a hand to shake yours, is a woman who says, "Hi, I'm March." And there's a brief pause as you realize that you've seen her before. In fact, less than 24 hours ago, when you left her on a peak. Not that far.
Oh.
Not that far at all from here, but on the other end of the island. And that's where we're going to call it for tonight.
Oh. It's just not right then.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Oh,
Oh.
no.
What a tangled web we weave.
Oh, Zoe's not going to be happy. Can we freeze on Zoe's face?
Yeah.
Zoe's supposed to be a picture at this point. Yes.
Oh my goodness. I'm glad we were kind to her. Were we kind to her?
Kindish.
She's
well,
not...
I mean, if it was a binary choice, we were clearly kind to her.
We were kind. If it was just kind or not kind.
You didn't injure her,
no,
really?
If it was a, drop her off in the middle of nowhere or chap her off with Rara.
That's right. You definitely did not injure her in any way, shape, or form.
We were definitely kind to her.
We need to talk to Sparrow. This is what happens when you're nice to people.
I know. I can't believe they missed it. I hope to catch up.
Oh man. Oh.
Well, they have the opportunity. They've got a week.
That
indeed.
is true.
Wait.
On that bombshell, on that horrible bombshell. I guess for those of you that are here, we're gonna make a draw then before we finish up tonight. We're gonna make a draw for the Baltic Star mug from the Etsy shop. If anyone else wants to make an entry, we'll give it a couple of minutes before we draw it. But click on the little sun for the Imperial credits. Drop 200 of those, which of course is free. Click on the little ticket, and you'll enter the prize draw. And you can choose any of the mugs from our Etsy store, and we will buy it and post it to you for free as a thank you for being with us today.
And they are very nice mugs.
They are nice. Yours hasn't fallen apart yet, Ewan.
No, it holds coffee really well. It holds tea really well. It holds beer, wine really well. Possibly other things as well. Pens,
Dice.
Pens.
Screws.
Do not drink the pens.
Yeah. But it holds them sufficiently.
It'll hold them, I'm sure. Yes. We can easily give people a few minutes because we normally stick around and chat after a Friday for a bit anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. We'll let it run for a bit. I'll get my bit of paper down as well to say so it's ready, so I can write the winner's name on it when it comes.
Have you got them all written down?
I've got
years before I wrote another 2 1s.
Yeah, we know it's the ghastly sloth. The ghastly sloth is all over those dice.
Yeah. It's all.
Nice. Oh man. You know what? Weirdly, for some reason, I thought that woman at the top of the stairs was going to be someone different. I thought it was going to be Sil Salva, and I don't know why. I'm still waiting for that circle to finish.
That would kind of fit, I guess. She was the aide to the governor on the planet.
I was hoping she was
I
going.
assume there were actually I assume that this Aslan is of a much higher station than Papa Cress was.
I was hoping
Well, he certainly is now.
Yes. Well, indeed.
Yeah, definitely.
I was hoping it was going to be her. She was going to march down the stairs and take Stefan in her arms. And then we get the love lift us up where we belong. That fade to black instead of the shocking fade to black we got.
I don't think we could do more than one.
Where the eagle flies. We started with one. Stick it. I think it's less than 20 seconds, I believe.
Yeah, something like that.
Actually, we do have the group on YouTube now that are for our YouTube uploads, which I do a few weeks after, that have been copyright chasing us for that song at the start. But it's a free rights song. It's what's it called? It's like duty. I was going to say duty free. It's not duty free. But so now I'm just copying and pasting royalty free. You don't even need to give the name of who it was. It's from a specific site. So every single time, but apparently they're quite well known for it. There's a couple of groups that click on everyone. It demonetizes that video. Not that we make money on ours, but it's a bit of a loophole at the minute. So each one I'm like copying and pasting the same response. Like I'm legally allowed to. But all it happens is after 30 days they drop it, and then they just bring it back up again. It sucks, man. Yeah. It doesn't feel right. So.
No, it's obviously basically a scam, isn't it?
Yeah.
It feels it. It does feel it. Sometimes they've done it, and it's like I've uploaded the video, and then within 20 seconds, it's up saying this bit of music between 55 and 57 minutes. It's like, how have you even found it there? You must just be using some kind of program to just find music and just like make it, hope there's music. Let's take a chance that it's something that we can, bring up.
Yeah.
Very frustrating though. There's a lot. I know of other people that it's been done quite a lot. It's just not right. Not right. People that are actually making money with their videos are getting their videos demonetized.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? I suppose people who've got large followings on YouTube and who rely on that, I guess, to a certain extent.
Exactly.
I'm guessing also that if you post I don't know this for a fact, but I'm sure if you post a video on YouTube, it probably gets the vast majority of its views from your regular viewers in its first few days, let alone a few weeks, as people catch up with what you're doing at the moment, what your latest thing is. And if that happens to coincide with when it's demonetized, presumably you never get that back once it's re-enabled.
Yeah, exactly. So people are losing out. It's it's not great. I know they got strict on music and that because a couple of the big music labels went big on it. So.
Yeah, but if they do actually own the rights and you're using it
then
illegally, I have a certain amount of sympathy.
Yeah, that's a whole different matter, isn't it?
But this is just a scam, surely. I think.
Yeah, it feels it. Yeah. Speaking of scams, let's do our draw. I'm excited. Right. Speaking of things that are not scams, what sort of dice can we divide a 4 into, Ewan?
Well, Luke, being a maths teacher that I am, obviously, I wouldn't expect you to understand such things.
Oh, no. Maths goes far above my head.
We could, in fact, use a D4, a D8, a D12, a D20, a D24.
D16.
There are an infinite amount of dice that we could use. However, of the dice that are available to us, that significantly reduces the choice. Ben, what have you got to hand?
I have to hand, essentially, a nominally full set of all of the proper polyhedral standard dice and 2 abominations with different variations on a theme of tens and units drawn on. However, thankfully, with 4 to choose from, I actually have a choice of 4 dice, all of which are regular polyhedrons. I can do 4s, 8s, 12s, or 20s, whichever someone would prefer.
Roll your 4, and if it's a 1, it's a 4. If it's a 2, it's an 8. It's a 3, it's a 12.
And I feel as though we should let Luke through the next one.
D20.
It is in fact a 4. So Luke, you need to roll a D20.
Oh, hang on, let me get it from my little bag of holding. My little Ewan bag of holding. Oh, they've fallen out. Hang on. Oh no. Are they mine? There. No, hang on. They're not mine. There. Are they? Hang on. No, I had little Earth dice. They must be my daughter's. I don't want to use my daughter's dice. That feels unfair. There we go. My little bag of holding. What, my D20?
D20.
Wasn't expecting to get any D20s out. I'm still not used to them. Right, here we go. Oh, I think I've lost a dice there. What's that one? That's one of my daughters. Let's put that in her little purple sack. Right, D20. So it's 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, and 16 to 20. And we have hit a 1.
It's Ali.
Ali's got a mug. 1. There it is. 1. The dice loses,
Ali.
It loses its impact a little bit when it's a D20 holding it up, I feel. But it's there. My little Earth dice.
Yeah, it's a smaller face.
I rolled a caltrops and it came up 1. It came up 4. So.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Ali. You've won a mug. I'll send you the link to check out which mug you want, and we'll get you that and send it over. So that's something exciting, isn't it? Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ali.
You're still here, and Ali's still here as well. Whoop! You get the mug.
Well then it seems reasonably, unbelievably fair and fitting. If she's stuck with us for this long, endured us for this long.
Yeah. As she's put up with us for this long, it seems only reasonable.
I'm sorry we can't do more.
We can, just not tonight.
Well, we will be doing more.
We'll be doing more prizes. I'll tell you what. It's quiet in the chat. We haven't raided for ages. Should we do a raid tonight?
Yes, let's do a raid.
Yeah, it feels like a good time to raid somebody. Yes. What are the options, Luke? Who we got?
Oh, I don't know. Tabletop anthologies, Ghostlight RPGs, Gold Mode. I don't think it's D&D. Amiga. Oh, they're not D&D. That's Nino Kuni game. Endless Waters Productions. They're doing D&D Shadows Light. There's that might be. Endless Waters. If I remember, they were a nice little bunch. They're all a nice bunch. I only follow nice bunches. Or the Curse of Strahd. We've got Strahd. We've got D&D. Any preferences?
Jack, any preferences? I always forget about the delay.
Slash raid. I think that is.
Yeah. And just a quick reminder, you can follow us on Twitter at Boys Baltic. We're back Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday next week. Tuesday behind the screens. Thursday we're doing the countless deaths of we are multiple centuries of goblins in space.
At least 300 goblins in space.
At least 300 goblins in space.
Hopefully less.
And then Friday for the next episode as the pigeons all come home to roost for our evil torturers of the Boys of the Baltic Star next Friday.
I feel all our wrongdoings are coming back to get us.
I've got to get through leading a game of 100 goblins in space whilst knowing in the back of my head that we're about to get into on Friday. Our good friend from... sorry, I put my notes away now. What was it? She's part of the Joke 99.
That's what she told you.
Yeah.
I went a bit early on the raid there. What was it? Hold on. Oh yeah, the Joke 99. Right, I'm going to raid. Are we okay with the raid?
Yes, let's go ahead and raid.
Cool.
Make it so.
Thank you, everyone. We love you all, and thank you for staying. And we'll see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Peace be with you all.
Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it.
Let's raid. We're going to raid Endless Waters Productions.
Cool.
That's good. They've only got a couple on there, so let's beef up their viewers.
Nice. I like those ones.
Yeah, me too. They're nice as well. We love you.